Okay, injury front. Trey Benson is going to go IR to return. He came in Friday, and it's a knee, but he should be able to return at some point this year. D-Rob's still working through the chest. He won't be out there today. We'll see kind of how the week progresses. Other than that, excited to get back on the grass today. Big challenge ahead of us, and play good football on Sunday.
Coach, when you have an injury like that and the offense has been starting slow the last couple of weeks, how do you overcome that and get the offense to kind of kickstart things early?
Never about one guy to me. Everyone's got to do their job at a high level, got to coach and play good, and real comfortable with the guys that will be assuming the role.
Did this happen on that last run of his?
I honestly think it happened a little earlier in the game. I didn't get to the exact play that it happened, but I think it actually happened earlier in the game, and he kind of played through it, and then he came in on Friday. That's why I didn't have it for you guys on Thursday after the game, but he came in Friday and it was sore.
Do you envision Amari taking over that three-down role, or more of a mix of guys?
I don't know. We'll see how kind of the week goes, but we obviously know we got to pick up that role. But feel good about Bam and Amari and Mike Carter. I'm sure all three of them will play.
We haven't talked a lot about Bam since the end of the preseason, obviously, but what does a guy like that, in the context of what he's been able to practice up until now, what have you seen from him, and does that give you enthusiasm for what he might be able to do?
Absolutely. There's a reason we kept him, and I think he's been working on his game. He's playing on fourth down as well, but I think he's a big, strong, explosive guy that can run the rock, so he'll get his touches.
What made you decide to elevate Michael from the practice squad, and what do you like about his skill set?
Mike Carter can play football. He's a good football player. I've seen that since we've been here. So roster construction, your first part of the question, Teo, and then obviously it made sense for us. And then best thing for the team. And I'm excited for him. I really am.
How important is his locker room presence? Just, you've talked about it getting a standing ovation. Just what does it mean to have that?
Yeah, everybody really kind of gets a standing ovation when you win the Pat Tillman Award that gets announced on Saturdays, and he was the last one to win it. So I don't want to overdo that one. But with talking with Mike about Mike, he's fun to be around, man. He's got a smile on his face. He's positive. He works at improving his game. He'll do anything you ask of him. Loves ball. He's been a great teammate. He'll go out and play well.
Coach, you talked Monday about Tennessee being better than their record indicates. Yeah. What do you see now heading into Wednesday practice?
Just that. Team knows. I mean, they're in Denver versus a good football team. It's a one-score game in the fourth quarter. Houston, it's 6-0 late in the third. They're on defense. Houston's backed up. It's 2nd and 33. Got a chance to get out of that and tie the game. Indy generated some explosive plays and put a bunch of points up on the board. That one, that got a little bit away from them, I think, in the third. And the Rams, they're up in that game in the second half versus the LA Rams. So, say what you want. Any team, I laugh, talk to people around the league and even us, you're a couple plays away from your record being significantly different, better or worse. That's reality in the NFL. I talked to the team today. It's not to slight college football, but this is not a 0-4 college football team that has no chance of winning. Everybody in the NFL has a chance to win every game. They got really good players, really good coaches, and we got to play, like I said, probably our best game to get a win.
What have you seen from Jeffrey Simmons?
Game wrecker. I mean, the first thing that jumps on the tape is this, for better lack of term, stamina. He plays a ton. Doesn't really come out of the game. You put 4 hands on him, he makes a play for a TFL. You put 4 in the run game. You put 4 hands on him in a pass game, and he sacks the quarterback. He's all over the place. They do a good job of deploying him. He's a big, strong, violent guy. He's hard to block, so that's definitely a focus of ours. We cannot let him wreck the game, understanding that too. He's going to make his plays. He does it versus everybody. That's why he's who he is. But got a high level of respect for him. He's a good player. He's a good player.
Nick was saying yesterday on air he wants to see the defense improve as in explosive plays. But when you've got a defense that is stopping the run well and forcing offenses to be a little more one-dimensional, is there a certain point where it's, okay, they're going to take a lot of shots, they're going to hit on some, or is that still not enough of, it doesn't matter if they're throwing the ball a lot more, we can't let that happen?
I think that's a good question, Danny. To me, and Nick, I think, thinks pretty similar to me. Certain games, how you choose to defend, you're going to put your guys in some stressful downs, and you got to be okay with some. Other games, you're trying to keep them all off the board. So I'm not going to tell you how we're going to defend this week, but I would say this. With explosive plays, I'm okay if the stress of the call, there's situation, strength, and stress of each call, right? When you're calling it, what's the strength, what's the stress? If they find the stress for an explosive play, sometimes you can live with some of those. If the strength of the call is to take away explosives and they generate explosives, I am not okay with that. And coming out of Seattle, I felt that happened too many times. So that's always something that we talk about and hang our hat on because we know that's a stat that wins. And I do think we have to do a better job of keeping the explosive play battle down as it relates to defense on that side of the ball. So, we have to do a better job. You can't have a 5-play drive that goes 70 yards and they score a touchdown. Like, that's not good defense. So, and he doesn't call it accordingly like that. So I think it's self-inflicted explosives we got to minimize.
With the run.
That's a really good question.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, when you have a guy like Trey McBride, obviously you're trying to tweak things and make things that are better, and you have a guy like McBride who's playing pretty well and does these great things. Do you not worry about him or think about him as much because you know what you're going to get from him and you focus more on other stuff? Or is he still, do you still think, okay, how can we do different things with him to even upgrade what he's doing?
Yeah, I think about him all the time. He's one of our premier players, so he needs to impact the game accordingly. So, yeah, that's one of the guys that the passing game goes through. We got to make sure that he's impacting the game in a positive way.
The running backs room, when James went down and Trey stepped in, you guys kind of just inserted him into essentially that role and didn't have to change a ton about the offense. Do you have to change more things now going down to that third string of guys?
Not a ton to me. We will make some tweaks no matter who's back there moving forward, but to your guys' eye, probably won't look a ton different. Hopefully we have some more efficiency and run the ball a little bit better. But with saying that, knowing that the guys that are going to be carrying the ball, their skill set is different than 6 and 33. We got them put them in good. We have to put them in good spots that they feel really comfortable and they can execute what's being asked of them.
You've been very adamant that you're a process-driven team and head coach, and I'm curious, what's the balance between trusting the process and not hitting the panic button, like you said last week, but also kind of being urgent whenever you need
Yeah,
it?
no panic button here. Trust the process, but I am very aware of when we have to tweak our process for results, and that goes into every, we talk about it kind of daily. When you're in the NFL, you're going to go through stretches of games of during a game, a 2-game block, a 3-game block, a half, like here and there, it's not all going to work and like you want it to. You got to you got to look at it with a critical eye and see if you have to tweak some things. You know what I mean? And that's the fun of the job, and that's our job. My job first is to, if we have problems, we got to solve problems, and you can do that a bunch of different ways. But that's, all 32 teams are probably doing the same thing.
Jordan Burch has looked reliable. How have you seen him kind of round out that pass rushing?
He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. You know, on first, second, and third down. You know, I'm very pleased with where he's at. I know he's working on a couple things, but you see, he's playing a lot of ball for us and playing good football. You know, and I think he's going to keep taking strides to become a better player.
Coach, coming off 2 straight losses, how's the mental attitude in the locker rooms?
Really good. Shot of adrenaline. Let's get a win this week. But it starts, really started on Monday, and we got to control today. That's the most important thing. You guys, I'll give you a little wink, wink, nod, nod. Wait till you see your new room in that new facility. Pretty sweet, huh?
Excited to see the news about the facility.
I was, yeah. I mean, it's funny, like when I interviewed way back, it seems like ages ago. But that was kind of in the works. So I would just say that it's cool. I know there's a lot of work and commitment that go into what it's going to be. And I did not have to do anything, with it. So I didn't have to get my hands dirty, so to speak. And it's cool to see the boss execute that in the time and obviously the commitment that he put into that. It's going to be pretty special. So they were joking around when he broke the news, Brewer and Beach and some of those guys. Probably they'll see it, I'm sure.
You said our room's gonna be cool. How do you like your room?
Yeah, all I need is a chair and a TV, so I'm pretty easy. I like to think I'm low maintenance. You guys are probably a little more high maintenance than me.
Espresso machine.
Danny, you for sure an espresso machine. If there's not one in there, I'll buy it for you guys.